It's news time. Information is power. Be current. The news headline. I will clean up El-Rufai's mess. Shehu Sani joins Kaduna governorship race. Reviews what he will do to APC. With the 2023 election fast approaching, Nigerian politicians have started indicating interest to contest for various positions. One of such people is Senator Shehu Sani, a former lawmaker who represented Kaduna Central at the Senate between 2015 and 2019. Sani wants to contest for the Kaduna governorship election and sack the APC, which is currently in power. A former lawmaker, Senator Shehu Sani, has indicated interest to contest for the number 1 seat in Kaduna Camp 2023. And during an interview on a radio station, Sani, who represented Kaduna Central between 2015 and 2019, called on the people of the state to support him, saying that, "So, I will contest the governorship seat under the PDP. Therefore, I call on the people of Kaduna to support and collaborate with me." The politician enjoined the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to put its house in order so it can take over as a government that will respect the will of the poor in the North State. Sani stated, "We sat with my loyalists and supporters, and they wanted me to contest the governor of Kaduna State, which I will do to remove APC, God willing, to remove another anointed candidate of the state's governor, and to enter government house where Comrade will be sworn in as the next governor that will bring changes, that will clean all the deaths they bring in the state in the name of development." The politician vowed they solve the issue of insecurity in the state. He also begged for prayers from religious leaders and others. Giving reasons why the people should vote for him, he said it is time to have a comrade as a governor so that the people can see the difference between him and Malam. Sani also pointed out that he had no money to share to get votes, warning that Nigeria is in mess because of the money politics. He also added that if the masses decide to vote for him, with or without money, he would win. In what can be described as the art of good, Senator Shehu Sani shared Christmas hampers to traffic wardens in Kaduna State as Nigerian Christians celebrated Christmas with billions of their counterparts across the globe. Sani decided to appreciate the officials while on duty. The outspoken ex-lawmaker, who made this known on Saturday, December 25, in a post shared on his Facebook page, said the officials never asked for it, but out of goodwill, and passion for a better Nigeria, especially in Kaduna State, they decided to, give them that hamper as a sign of love and, appreciating their good works in the country to ensure that there is, law and order in the state. And he further emphasized on the part of, contesting for the governorship position in Kaduna State with or without money, that the money politics has actually affected Nigerians, and therefore in the next election it should be supported to ensure that it puts everything back in place as it ought to be.
Government. Already in the 2022 budget, over 225 projects have been identified as duplications at the cost of 20 billion naira, prompting the House of Rep to set up a probe committee. There is nothing more than appeal to the persuaded Nigerians of his electability, anti-corruption personality. During his first sojourn as military head of state in 1984 to 1986, then General Muhammadu Buhari was seen as the nemesis of corrupt politicians, and that image, which could not help him during previous electoral attempts, was capitalized on by the Southwest media to burnish and garnish a political reputation against an admittedly helplessly gutless and hapless leadership of Goodluck Jonathan. But history is a mercilessly ruthless judge. While previously clueless and corrupt, Jonathan has become a beautiful bride of international diplomacy and democratic behavior. The anti-corruption warrior is now mired in a government that, by its own reckoning, has become the most inept and corrupt in our history. To be fair, the president did not promise much in the electioneering campaigns in both elections. Throughout the campaigns, his mantra, repeated like a broken record, was fighting corruption, insurgency, and improving the economy. His performance on all three counts is suspect, dubious and undistinguished. Most people would even declare him a failure. By its own admission, even the government does not point to any of them as its main achievement, which is curious. To it, their greatest achievement is building infrastructure, which was a kind of an afterthought as it never featured in its 2015 election campaigns. The curiosity is, how could one major in a subject on which he was not tested in an examination? On his greatest failure, agreement will be as difficult to reach. Insecurity has become a major menace in the country, and no part of his nation is spared. But because that is not his greatest failure, nor is the crumbling economy, which he was never given a chance in the first place. It has never been this bad since the war, and although President Muhammadu Buhari was elected to deal with the problem of insurgency in the northeast, his regime was added the nefarious activities of herdsmen and now bandits, who have not only made life brutally short and unbearable for most rural communities, especially farmers who have abandoned their farms, which has led to the threat of food scarcity and hunger in the country. The Nigerians are paying such humongous price on account of corruption in the public service in a government that promised to stamp it out is a monumental indictment of President Muhammadu Buhari and his legitimacy for the office. The paradox is that for every extra kobo that goes into fictitious projects and salaries, there is a corresponding denial of public-oriented spending to improve people's lives. Also, such increase in recurrent spending is directly responsible for the unending borrowing by this government to fund its acclaimed infrastructure development in a situation that mortgages the future of the country and the next generation. Consequently, the reason we are borrowing is not entirely because there is no money, as government has consistently maintained, but because its employees are siphoning the money into their private pockets at the expense of the generality of Nigerians. The obvious implication of this development is that the current anti-corruption strategy is defective and inappropriate, thinking that the main culprits in corruption are the political office holders. This view featured heavily in Buhari's approach in dealing with members of the Second Republic political class. But it is simply untenable because the political class does not have accounting powers, which belongs to the career civil servants. So it is financially impossible for the politicians to steal money from government coffers without the active involvement and collusion of the bureaucrats themselves. Also, for a minister or commissioner to steal a dime, the bureaucrat must be involved. Entire budgets of the country through the manners of expenditure. They also prepare the budget